Good day and welcome everybody from the District of Sooke's Council. Thank you so much for joining us for our presentation on the touristic development of the Sooke District. My name is Szilvia and I'm from the Royal Roads Master in Tourism Management Program. Together with the work of my teammates Deepa, Kartik, Ada, and David, we will be evaluating the arts, culture, and recreation appeal of the Sooke region. We will also be providing suggestions on how to immediately improve the appeal and the success of this sector. So here we have our table of contents on what we will be discussing through the course of this presentation. After a brief introduction for you all through the story of Sooke, we will talk to you through our day trip to Sooke that we took back in February, where we as a team played tourist in the municipality and reported on our experience. It wasn't all pretty, unfortunately. We will then guide you along the various limitations we see in terms of the development of Sooke and suggestions on where to guide immediate investments. We will explain the benefits of each of our suggestion implementations on the growth of the city as a whole. And finally, we will conclude by giving thanks to our listeners and our mentors and our research references. We are going to keep this slide more brief, but this is essentially an introduction to the seaside town of Sooke. Geographically, the Sooke community is known for its rugged, sheltered, oceanic coastline called the Sooke Basin, surrounded by the spectacularly tall trees of Sooke Hills. It is a good starting point for the popular Pacific Marine Circle Route drive that you can see as the background of this slide. Below, we list a number of attractions that fall under our section, Arts, Culture, and Recreation, that draw visitors to Sooke. Some key notes are the spectacular parks, including the East Sooke Regional Park, Sooke Mountain Provincial Park, Sooke Potholes, and Whiff and Spit. Another highlight is the Sooke Regional Museum, the Ed McGregor Park and Boardwalk, and the Tugwell Creek Honey Farm. It must be noted that the District of Sooke is one of the 13 municipalities covered by the Capital Regional District, or the CRD of Southern Vancouver Island. The CRD acts as a local government facilitating partnerships, projects, and services in Vancouver's island's regions to boost the sustainability and quality of life for all communities. They deliver services on a regional, sub-regional, and local levels, focused on infrastructure and financing. Moving on, I will lead us through what our day trip to Sooke looked like. We actually took this day trip on Sunday, February 16th for about half a day with the intentions of getting a better understanding of the layout and the culture of Sooke and to speak to any locals about development issues and ideas of the district. We also intended to report on any limitations we saw. We spent about a 6-hour day exploring Sooke, speaking and interviewing employees and locals alike, and trying to hit some key visitor areas. So these areas include, but aren't limited to, the Sooke Regional Museum and Visitor Center, Sea Park Leisure Complex, Sooke Brewing Company, Ed McGregor Park, and Whiff and Spit. It must be noted that we were planning on trying to visit the Sooke Fine Art Gallery, but we actually failed to do so. The location was incorrect on Google Maps, which kept leading us to the location of Care Funeral Services. We couldn't find a website on Sooke's Fine Art Gallery or any further information on it online. This limitation led to quite a negative visitation experience as we were all circling around the funeral service home lost and confused. Moving on, we identified some basic competitive advantages and disadvantages that Sooke has. The scale in this slideshow shows that we are off balance and that the limitations outweigh the advantages. Not to worry, as the disadvantages can be worked and improved upon. One focal advantage that Sooke has is its proximity to Victoria and its identifier as a drive-through destination along the way to Port Renfrew and to Fino. This brings great opportunity to the district of Sooke and guarantees that people will be passing through it in some way or another. It also has a great presence in booming outdoorsy adventure tourism activities such as hiking, mountain biking, kayaking, whale watching, and scenic beaches and parks. This scenic getaway from the city label can be considered one of Sooke's major tourism identifiers. Some other advantages are the accessibility of Sooke via the Galloping Goose Trail, the annual Sooke Fine Art Show, and the thriving night market near the visitor center, which draws some profitability towards Sooke's tourism services every Thursday evening in the summer. On the disadvantages side, or the right side of the scale, we have our limitations in management and marketing of the Sooke district. We noticed that there is not enough vibrant signage or directions for the promotion of Sooke's focal tourist attractions. Sooke is also missing a tourism information center in its downtown core, which would help ground wayward visitors. Up-to-date information on Sooke and its offerings are not available on a social media platform, and it is missing a consistent brand image. We also have an absence of an economic development officer or office, or you may call it an executive destination officer or office, either way, EDO. This would be a position that would essentially pay for itself in the long run of developing Sooke. We are going to move on to the immediate suggestions we have for the District of Sooke's Council for some certain improvements on their management and marketing tactics. Rebranding the Visitor Information Center to fit with one consistent vision for the town of Sooke would be a great place to start, we think. We also think investing in the position of an Economic Development Officer, EDO, would be extremely worthwhile and would contribute to the overall economic growth of Sooke, not just in tourism. The municipality would open new features for community engagement, new employment opportunities for locals would open up, and the city will become more bustling and engaging to Vancouver Island's visitors. A destination marketing agenda would be wise because it would be a great support alongside the construction around the vision for Sooke. It would ensure proper organized funding and investor opportunities, and it would provide parameters to measure all of these marketing strategies' performances. We think a consistent communication and collaboration with local tourism operators would ensure that all local independent businesses of Sooke are on the same page, are promoting Sooke in the same ways, and have knowledge on all their funding and community benefits that are available to them. As we can see, consistency is key here. In the next slide, we will focus on suggestions on how to reinforce the Sooke brand. Reinforcing the Sooke brand and coming up with a consistent city-wide vision for its development will be the key to visitation success and will lead to an economic boom within the city of Sooke. We identified that mountain biking, for example, has actually an enormous potential within the city of Sooke. If mountain biking can be packaged as an annual event attracting sponsorship opportunities, Sooke can become renowned widely as a mountain biking destination, and it can enter into a very loyal and devoted market. We also think that Sooke's beer and breweries can also gain a bit of a marketing boost. Beer packages and tours can be facilitated with Sooke Brewery alongside a partnership with the few hotels in Sooke, and perhaps even in collaboration with a few accommodation sectors in Victoria. This would be an especially advantageous draw for those interested in visiting multiple areas on the island, such as Tofino, Couch and Lake, and are beer drinkers. Tokens can be provided to be redeemed for beer samples and merchandise along travelers' routes on the Pacific Marine Circle. In terms of immediate investments, we think it would be smart to start with creating a user friendly tourism destination website, staying consistent again with the developed Sooke brand. More maps and adequate signage would be great to enact within the city, and eventually, as growth develops in the city, maybe some kiosks as well. Live summer events and festivals should be highlighted and promoted to showcase Sooke's culture. These could be promoted widely towards incoming tourists to Victoria as well. Local campaigns aimed towards students that highlight career opportunities for tourism in Sooke would be a successful and cost efficient initiative. Employing students in an information or visitor center services or information kiosks would help reinforce neighborhood pride within students, provide employment opportunities for students in Sooke, and promote positive tourism experiences at a low cost. Lastly, Sooke should work on strengthening their partnerships with Tourism Victoria and Destination BC to be able to expand their marketing network. One of the greatest pros of a community based initiative is to get residents' support and involvement, which creates a sense of ownership over the municipality and increases the probability of success for further development. Incorporating tourism related businesses into the marketing agenda creates a boost in such businesses with direct and indirect jobs for residents. This also promotes a sense of unity and participation amongst local business owners. Following along with a volunteerism plan would be cost effective in terms of labor. It would assist students and young people in gaining early work related skill sets and enforces community pride amongst young people at an early age. Taking into consideration our suggestions would bring great benefits to the municipality of Sooke. To reiterate, the new township unity would promote a greater sense of ownership amongst the community, which would in turn boost community participation in terms of volunteering initiatives. The boost in visitation would provide economic benefits to local businesses, which would only go towards improving them in the long run. An economic boom would bring forward more jobs for locals to Sooke. And if done correctly, the proposed initiatives would also create an awareness and appreciation of Sooke's spectacular environment by both residents and visitors alike. Lastly, the direction, coordination, and management would be improved upon Sooke and made to be more consistent. Wins all around. We wanted to thank each and every one of you for your time and for listening to our suggestions for the beautiful Sooke region. We hope that some part of our brainstorming stood out as a feasible project suggestion for Sooke, and even more so that it can be implemented in the near future. We want nothing more than to see the Sooke region thrive. We wanted to thank Brian White and Britt Santowski as well for doing an incredible job facilitating this project and presentation. Their passion and knowledge of the Sooke region knew no bounds. These were the references and websites we used to conduct our research and base our ideas on for our project. Thanks again.